Hello and welcome back to our CADclip lessons, getting you up to date with your REVIT Architecture 2008. And in this case, of course, this is completely applicable to REVIT Structure 2008. And what we're talking about is providing, we've talked about adding slopes and stuff to roofs and floors and slabs using the great new shape tools over here. And there's another nice feature with 2008 REVIT is that you can have one of the components or layers within that floor or roof structure have a varying thickness. You can only have one of the components be variable, and when you add a slope, what it does is it maintains the bottom of the floor or slab straight, and then what it does is one of the components within that slab will take up the slack. And of course it will depend on what the differential or the delta is between, how thick that particular layer is and how drastic you're trying to drop that point down, because eventually, if you try to drop it down beyond the point of the thickness of the component, it's not going to work, and we'll see. So if I just look at this, I just drew this on level 1. Okay, and I put a hole in the middle using our opening tool, our modeling opening vertical. And if I have a look at this cross section, I can look at that, and I'm looking at this in a shaded view. We could look at it HL for hidden line, okay, but SD for shaded. And you can see that I've got an insulation layer there, and it's tapering down to a point here, and it's taking up the slack. The underside of the structure is staying flat, the top sloping, and wherever this varying layer is where the slack gets taken up. So this is a really great feature. So I'm going to just start this from scratch and show you what I did. So I'm going to go start a new project. I'm going to go File, New Project. And I'm going to specify, I'm going to use the commercial project because it already has a roof component in there with some layers already set. So I'm going to just use that as my default, start off in a blank project file, and then I'm going to draw in a roof, and I'm going to select that particular roof type. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to draw this on level 1. I could draw it on the roof level, I suppose, and then go Roof by Footprint, okay? And I'm going to check my roof properties, and I'm going to specify that I want to use this particular type of roof. And you can build your own, and you can transfer roof types from project to project. But I'm going to pick on this, and before I draw it, what I'm going to do, this is the key, I'm going to go into Edit. Okay, I'm going to go into the structure, I'm going to edit that, and you can see these are the components, materials, thicknesses. Well, we've got this option in here, variable thickness, and I'm trying to change the size of this dialog box and it's not letting me. Can I move that over a bit? I really can't. Can I bring that? Variable, yes or no, basically. So do I want the roofing to vary? No. In fact, I'm going to exaggerate the thickness of that roofing just for visibility purposes and make that a full inch thick. I'm going to make my insulation layer to be 6 inches, because that's at the high point. I might even go 8 inches, but 6 inches is going to be around the outer edge, because I know I want to drop it down by about 3 inches, and I'm going to make that my variable component. The rest are going to stay concrete 3 inches, steel deck 1.5 inches. Now if I change these, you'll notice you can only have one variable, one being a variable thickness. That's what this is, variable thickness. So the maximum thickness is 6 inches, or I should say it could be minimum. I suppose if I move the point up, the insulation will get thicker, but the object here is to slope it down to a drain hole. So I'm going to say okay, variable, good to go. Hit OK. Hit OK, come on out. So now I'm just going to sketch in that shape. I'm just going to use a rectangle. I'm not going to get complicated about what the size of it is, and hit finish. And there we go. There's I'll do a shaded view here. And there's my floor slab or roof slab. I'm going to go to my roof. I'm going to draw a section in here. I'm going to say okay, modeling, basics, more tools, in my case section. I'm going to draw a section through there. Escape, escape. Double click on my section. There it is. Change it to be fine detail, and then I can see my layers. And then I'm SD for shaded. I'm also going to change the color of my insulation material just so it stands out a bit. So I'm going to click on here. I'm going to go into my properties. I'm going to hit edit. I'm going to go into my structure edit. I'm going to go to the thermal insulation. I'm going to click on this button, and I'm just going to change the color of that, to be something different, just so it stands out from the rest of the components. Okay. Hit OK, hit OK, hit OK, hit OK. Click out. There's my varying insulation layer. Looks good, right? So now all I have to do is go back to my roof plan. I can add my points in any way I want. Okay, I can draw some grid lines if I want. Draw a grid line in here so I get it on the middle of my slab. It doesn't really matter. Okay, and then I'm going to add a point. So I'm going to pick on the roof. I'm just going to use my good old points, draw points. I'm going to give an elevation of -3 inches. Okay, let's go even -4 inches, which gives me a minimum of 2 inches of rigid insulation. Okay, and I'm just going to go down, zoom in, and I'm trying to zoom, it's not zooming, and I'm going to pick. Now it let me zoom, escape. I'm going to pick on here, I'm going to tab, grab that point, maybe move it over a bit. Okay, it doesn't matter. Oh, I need to use my edit option there to grab that and drag that point there. Okay, so that is now sloping down. Click out, escape. There's my sloping slab. SD for shaded view. Go to my 3D view. There's my ever so slightly sloped slab. I can go back to my level roof and double click on my section, and lo and behold, there is my sloping insulation layer. And really, that is the lesson. Okay, you can only have one sloping layer. That takes up the slack. I suppose if I went in here and I did my modify and I picked on this and moved that up to be, 1 foot and raised it up and click out, hit escape, and go back to my sectional view over here. Now my insulation is getting thicker, so I guess we could do that too. Okay, notice we can click on here. Okay, and if we do this, I can actually pick that point and change this right here, make it back to be 0, okay, or make it be -3 inches. So you can do all this from a section or an elevation or even a 3D view if you've seen some of our other CAD clips explaining all of these different tools. So very basic lesson on providing a tapering layer within a floor or a roof or a slab, and using our great new shape tools to provide the slope and have that one layer component with a varying thickness. So tune in for some more great CAD clips on our REVIT 2008.